Good morning and welcome back to The Different Perspective. I am your host, Leanne Jahi. Today we get to talk about a very exciting yet very sad topic, one we're either conscious or not conscious about it. And this is death of parts of ourselves when we're still so much alive. Yeah? As you can see, I'm dressed in black, and the reason why I'm dressed in black is because I am mourning a part of myself. I have come to realize, and maybe this is just a myth thing, but I know somebody else out there could be relating to this. Most of the times when we fall out from our friendships, our relationship, our romantic partners, from our parents, what actually hurts is not that the person leaves. What actually hurts is that a part of you has to die with them living, or the relationship ending, or the friendship ending. It's the part of you that dies that's what causes you so much pain. But we live in a world where we see things in the third party. So most of the times we rationalize it in our heads as the other people living is what is causing us pain. Today I get to ask you a very sober question. How many times do you ever grieve yourself? Are you aware whenever parts of you are dying? Do you allow yourself to mourn? Do you allow yourself to process the grief and finally attend the burial? Or do we just numb up? Because that's what we do. Most of the times we numb up, we find things to distract ourselves, to keep our heads occupied. But really what we need to do is to go through it. And going through it is going through the grief, going through the mourning period, and finally letting go. And when you get to the point where you're letting go is when you actually do the burial. Yeah, I know it's a very different way of saying it, but that's then serves the purpose of this YouTube channel. You get to see how I live my life in a way that shows you my perspective about it, and if it's something that you find useful, you can use. So I really try not to push myself so much, because if you do, and this is where habits come into play, whatever it is you do when you're going through an adversity, or whatever it is that you get to do when you're going through a tough time, you easily fall back into your patterns. And this is why I say it's very important to make sure you have somehow created a healthy habit for you, or you have created a healthy pattern around and about you. And this is not to say that I'm perfect. Oh God, hell no. There are days I will just lose it. But this is the thing. Over time, I've come to learn to give myself permission to be petty, to be dramatic. I have come to give myself permission to feel whatever it is that I'm feeling, however it is I feel it, without holding guilt or being ashamed about it. And me making peace with the outcome. Doesn't mean, I'll be, very rational, very, very cool through it. Oh, hell no. Each and every person has their own different ways of letting out rage or anger or pain. And this is the one thing I say. If my tattoo guy was just around, I think my body will be getting a tattoo every single time I attend my own burial. I would want to encourage all of us that in the journey of self-awareness and self-discovery, that we intentionally go through and sit in with our pain, and know at what point in time do we change and be a different person. When does a part of us die? Can we go to that point in time and know how that makes us feel? Yeah, I know most of the times we are so casual about life and think that everything that runs around our lives is so casual, but it's not. Every other thing runs way deeper than the surface. Yeah, but because surface is what we see, surface is what we present, surface, this is the interface we get to show the user. And by the user or the other players, I mean the other people that you get to interact with in your life, in your social circles, and in the environment that you find yourself in. Yeah, So there's that one that you'll need to save face to hold up face, yeah. And then there's the one that is inside where everything runs deeper, that also needs to be sorted, yeah. Loss is a very key part of life. It's part and parcel of it. There's no wishing it away or outdoing it or outmatching it. There's no sidelining it. You only get to know how to deal with pain by acknowledging that it's gonna be there. This is not definitely not the first time or the last time you're gonna get hurt. It's part and parcel of life, and the only power you have is to know how to go around it. And each pain is different. So you cannot say you have a one shoe fits all size for pain. Every time you encounter new challenges, parts of you come alive, parts of you die. And when that happens, your whole body comprehends things very differently. You feel things very differently. So each and every time you cannot say, well, this worked for me last time. Last time I was hurt, I drank my pain away. Maybe that worked. And maybe this time that won't work. So you need to be very conscious, very alert, very aware, until you come to a point you say, well, it's okay that it didn't turn out how I wish it should have. And it doesn't make me a bad person, and it neither does it make the other person a bad person. It's just, it wasn't just, because most of the time we get caught up in the wishful thinking of how things could be. We paint the whole picture, and in reality, sometimes it doesn't match up. Yeah, it doesn't match up. And today morning, and on my WhatsApp status, I said, people know exactly what they're doing. Let no one cheat you. Let nobody fool you out here. Everybody knows exactly what they're doing. The question then becomes, do you want to be part of the game, or do you really want to play at all? Yeah, and if you do, how are you going to be how are you going to play the game? Yeah, without deluding yourself, without lying to yourself, and without betraying yourself. Yeah, and the only way you get to answer that question is by understanding what is important to you. I know this is not a conversation we easily have around, and we somehow just let things play out, and then when they don't amount to the fantasy that was in our heads, we are left in deficit. We don't know what to do. It's crazy how they say acceptance is really the first stage of healing, but nobody ever really tells you how to accept a situation. Yeah? First, you have to be aware that it's not what you thought it would be. And then in that, part of the acceptance is grieving and mourning the parts of you that die, the hope that was so much alive that now has to face reality. Yeah? When those things die, it's not an easy death. It's a very painful death, because it involves your mind, your heart, and your physical body. That's where the toll is seen. So it's totally okay that we have to go through pain. But then I'm also what I'm saying in all this is, let's normalize mourning ourselves, parts of ourselves that die when we're still so much alive. Let's normalize grieving the parts of ourselves that die, and let's normalize attending our own funerals and making peace with that. It takes time, but yeah, you'll get a hang of it. Yeah, and each and every time is different. You have to think that if every person you interact with, every person you exchange your life force with is just an extension of yourself. Yeah? If you can see that, then you realize you never really ever lose anyone. Yeah? It's just that you get to a crossroad and everybody has to take a different path, and it's fine. making peace with the fact that you are at crossroad and each and everybody has to take a different path. That means saying goodbye to a part of you. And that's what hurts. But then again, it's life, right? So today we get to bury, no, we're not even at the burial yet. Today we mourn a part of me. I don't know how long the grief period is going to be. Yeah, because you grieve in the same measure of how, in equal measure of the energy and time you put out in whatever situation you find yourselves in. The amount of time that took you will almost equally translate to the amount of time you need to grieve. So that's my take about life. I don't know how yours looks, but if it sparks a different line of thinking in your life, well, welcome to the tribe. Goodbye for now. Today I'll be a little gray. It's okay. And the one thing I tell myself that has helped me boost my self-confidence is I will know what to do. Yeah? I will know what to do. I'll somehow will figure it out. It might not be the ideal choice. It might not be, the proper choice for any other person. But for me, I make peace with that. Goodbye.